Well, I can't say that I didn't tell you guys because I definitely told you that this would happen. When they announced the new Harry Potter series for HBO Max, we knew that this was going to happen. We knew that the woke Twitter mob was going to come after this particular TV series and guarantee its success, just like they did with Hogwarts Legacy. I live for this stuff. I live for it because they're so utterly predictable that we all knew this was coming a mile away. Now there is an article from good old Kotaku, because who else would write about this nonsense? And it says, despite new Harry Potter show, HBO boss says he won't talk about J.K. Rowling's transphobia. Warner Brothers doubles down on working with Rowling on a faithful TV adaptation. This is such a fucking joke, man. This is hilarious to me because, again, we knew they were going to do this. We knew they were going to go crazy. And all they're going to do is guarantee the show's success. And the funny thing is, this show could be woke as hell for all we know. But they still would never know because they're too busy jumping the gun, because a simple mention of J.K. Rowling's name makes them go absolutely batshit insane. And it's hilarious to see. And the funny thing is, they're like, oh, she's going to benefit from this show. She already benefited, you morons. She signed a contract, got paid for all of this stuff, guaranteed, and the only thing she might collect afterwards is royalties for however much this show is shown. But the bulk of her money has already been gained by the fact that they signed a contract with her to do this show in the first place. I almost feel like these people don't know how things work in terms of finances, but again, I wouldn't expect much from people who can't even figure out themselves. So it says this week, Warner Brothers announced it's returning to where Harry Potter cinematic universe all started, with the faithful HBO TV adaptation of J.K. Rowling's books. Where the recent Hogwarts Legacy game tried to stay completely separate from the author and her anti-trans history, the streaming platform, rebranded as Max, doesn't seem to have the same hangups, as executives recently dismissed concerns about the controversy with weird non-answers. Now, the thing is, I don't really know why they feel like they deserve an answer. Like, why do the people who are so angry on Twitter feel like they deserve any answer? No matter how bad you want this to be true, and I know they desperately want it. They want it so bad. Harry Potter will never separate itself from J.K. Rowling. That is her golden ticket for the rest of her living days. There's no way Harry Potter's ever going to separate itself from J.K. Rowling. And no matter how much you try, no matter what you do, no matter what you say, it's never going to become a real thing, just like your gender. So you really should give it up at this point, because all you're doing by doing this whole fake cancel mob is seriously helping the show succeed in every way imaginable. You're not even giving it a chance to come out. I guarantee you, considering it's HBO Max and considering it's J.K. Rowling, who, by the way, to all you woke morons, she is a hardcore progressive, okay? This woman has disagreed with you on simply one thing, and that was enough for you to cancel her from your entire crowd. But she agrees with you on damn near everything else, but you wouldn't even know that because you're too busy being mad because Twitter told you so. You guys really are pathetic, and you really need to stop. Actually, you know what? Don't even stop. Don't even stop. Keep helping Harry Potter succeed at this point, because it's hilarious to me. So it says, Variety reports that Casey Bloys, CEO of HBO Max Content, tried to handwave away obvious questions about Rowling's involvement during a Q&A with press on April 12th following the TV adaptation's announcement. "No, I don't think this is the forum," said Bloys. "That's a very online conversation, very nuanced and complicated, and not something we're going to get into." Great. You really shouldn't. I think that's great. That's a great answer. Why bring in politics into a TV show that has nothing to do with politics? What does it even matter? Who gives a shit? Separate the art from the artist at this point. Either you like Harry Potter or you don't. If you're too busy and worried about a multi-fucking billionaire at this point, probably, if you're worried about her pocket that is never going to be affected by what you guys do, you always go after the easiest stuff to complain about. You're never going to put the actual work in to try to get her hurt in any way in terms of her pockets. You're never going to go after her contracts that make her the most money consistently. No, you're going to go after the stuff that allows you to complain on Twitter online because it's safe, it's easy, and it's ineffective, and you know it, but it allows you to virtue signal and say that you did something for the day. Here we have Catherine Van Arendonk, who says, describing trans rights as a very online conversation is so wildly off base and diminishing and disconnected from the political and lived reality for trans people. I am honestly taken aback. Well, I highly doubt you are taken aback. Then again, you do live terminally online, it seems like, but Again, you mentioned that it's from the political and lived reality for trans people. This is a fictional story about wizards and witches in a non-political story. What does any of this have to do with the actual story? You so desperately want to try to cancel J.K. Rowling, you never will. You never will. It's impossible. Even if this woman disappeared off of the face of the fucking internet, she will continue to make an abundance of money simply from her royalties. She never has to come out with a single book or TV show or movie ever again, but she will always be associated with Harry Potter. There will always be people trying to go to her to buy the rights off of her and continue to give her money for more projects. That because it's a hot IP. No matter how bad the trans people don't want that to be the truth, it is the truth. It says, obviously, the Harry Potter story is incredibly affirmative and positive and about love and self-acceptance, Blois added, juxtaposing Rowling's past remarks with the source material and how it will be portrayed in the show. That's our priority, what's on screen. Immediately after, however, Blois went on to confirm that Rowling is the series' executive producer and said her insights are going to be helpful. In her own statement put out alongside the announcement, Rowling stressed the close working relationship, writing, "I'm looking forward to being part of this new adaptation, which will allow for a degree of depth and detail only afforded by long-form television series." That's in stark contrast with the tightrope Avalanche Software walked with Hogwarts Legacy. They didn't walk a tightrope. They didn't walk a tightrope at all. They knew that they were going to hardcore succeed because they saw the support train that was coming out against the hate train. And the support train is always bigger. It is always, always bigger when it comes to the right side. So it says the game's developers went to great lengths to distance the project from Rowling, not really, stating again and again that she had no involvement. Well, that's not really going to great lengths, that's just stating the obvious. You guys kept asking the same question over and over. You kept asking Avalanche Software, hey, is J.K. Rowling affiliated with this? Is J.K. Rowling in this? And they kept answering the same question with a no. That's not going to the great lengths. That's just simply explaining answers to you that you didn't want to hear. You didn't want to hear that J.K. Rowling was not in this because you were hoping secretly that she was, so you can try to cancel it. And she still made money from it anyway. It says, stating again and again that she had no involvement. That didn't stop some players from boycotting the game amid a debate about supporting a project that puts royalty payments in the author's pockets as a reactionary political forces in the US and United Kingdom lay siege to transgender rights. Well, listen, that didn't stop some players from boycotting the game. Okay, how many? How many? Because we have numbers about how many supported it, and it is vast. It is massive. It is more people that supported the game than trans people exist in the entire world. I'm just saying. I'm just fucking saying. So, again, what numbers do you have to back up this supposed boycott that went absolutely nowhere and you guys got completely and utterly destroyed in every way in terms of this boycott? It says, but it did suggest players and developers alike were grappling with how to try to reimagine the Harry Potter franchise and fandom outside the Shadowcast by its creator. In the most recent high-profile example, Harry Potter star Daniel Radcliffe participated in a roundtable discussion with transgender kids that don't exist about trusting them to make decisions about their bodies and identities which they're too young to even understand. The event followed up on an open letter published last year in which he declared, transgender women are women and yet he will never fuck one. In stark contrast with Rowling, who has repeatedly called for trans women to be treated differently than cisgender women, which they absolutely should in terms of public spaces for real biological women and their own safety, and stoked paranoia around youth hormone treatment, which has every right to be stoked considering the mental illness that is on the rise in the trans community, even after supposed life-saving hormone therapy. So again, where are we? Where are we with this fucking stupid, absolute nonsensical argument? The reason I felt very, very much as though I needed to say something when I did was because, particularly since finishing Potter, I've met so many queer and trans kids and young people who had a huge amount of identification with Potter on that, Radcliffe told IndieWire in an interview last year. Yeah, I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did, and yet you only wanted to speak out now. You didn't want to speak out 10 years ago when you definitely could have, but because trans wasn't a thing and wasn't popular back then, you didn't see an opportunity to virtue signal and gain clout off of it. So you didn't talk about it then, but you want to talk about it now. It's very interesting. And so seeing them hurt on that day, I was like, I wanted them to know that not everybody in the franchise felt that way. And that was really important. Well, thank fucking God you're not part of the Potter franchise anymore. You have not been Harry Potter for over a decade at this point, and I don't consider you to be part of the Potter franchise. Yes, you did play Harry Potter at some point, and you gained a massive career off of it that went very flat very quickly after you finished playing Harry Potter, but ultimately you are no longer Harry Potter, and when this TV show comes out, there will be a new face. And I honestly, honestly, I hope he's trans. I hope he's trans because they still won't watch the show. They still won't boycott the show, even if Harry Potter is trans or non-binary, and it's gonna put them in a very awkward position about whether or not they support it or not. So I can't wait to see what happens with this TV show. It's gonna be epic, and you bet your ass I will be reviewing it. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it, and if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.